Podcast. I'm sitting here with Dakota Kimes, and I am Matt Bonta.
I didn't get to introduce myself.
That's
this is
okay.
bullshit.
You don't need to introduce yourself. I need to introduce you. I'm running this fucking show.
I'm the host.
And
Cone the most.
it's another amazing day at Sequel Podcast Studios.
It's true.
You know, it was nice this morning when I went to work.
Outside?
Well, I mean, it was dark, but the temperature...
We're really small talking about the weather right now.
No, hold on. No. It's on my mind.
We should have gotten that out of the way.
Some weather we're having, Dakota. Do you have kids?
Soon.
What do you do for work? God damn it, dude.
Some out of technical difficulties.
Yeah, it's loose. The stick does not fit in the hole, as they say.
Oh.
All right. Well, that one seems to be working better. But no. Okay. When I went to work this morning,
Yeah, it was lovely outside.
I didn't really need my jacket. Well, we're talking like 5:15 or so.
Yeah, I left the house at like 6.
I used my jacket. It was cold enough to have a jacket, but I didn't need it going from the car to the building.
Mm-hmm.
But then when I fucking get out of work, like at 11, it's fucking shitty and it's cold.
You got out of work at 11?
Yeah, no, it was an early day, an early out day. But yeah, we're live again on Facebook.
Yeah, trying this.
So that's the thing that we're
Time
doing
number deuce.
from now on. From now on, this is what I'm going to do.
Yeah?
Because it seems like we get viewers. So like if someone wants to, they can tune in and listen to us.
Can you put a link on anything live? Like put a link to the YouTube video for the podcast?
There isn't a YouTube.
Bam.
I mean, I always post.
That's how you... Bam! You
I
know?
always post the YouTube videos.
That's what I'm saying.
But well,
Like,
maybe
hey,
you should
you
fucking. I don't know.
You should fucking fuck.
Nah, it wouldn't work.
Or whatever.
No, I mean, I don't get a YouTube video until I put the opening song on and closing and everything else like that. And then, I get my file, my audio file, and then he's going to fuck it up! You're a terrible person. You've ruined it.
No, I didn't want to.
You've ruined the live experience. Everyone thought that we were podcasting live from fucking...
From some beautiful cliff
Beautiful
somewhere.
California.
Oh, no, that's not California.
It said it's Big Sur or something.
Ah, fuck Big Sur. I'm totally kidding.
No, what's funny is it shows that Wes isn't watching anymore, but when he was watching, he just fucking was right down the way, a couple apartments down.
Dude, tell him to come over. Come podcast.
He doesn't ever want a podcast.
Is he too cool for podcasting?
He's way too cool for podcasting.
He doesn't like to record his conversations with anyone?
He does not. He's a little bitch that way.
I like to do it without people knowing. I'm totally kidding. I don't do that.
Do podcasting without people knowing? I podcast by myself.
I podcast
in the dark.
everywhere that I go as I walk, talking to strangers randomly.
What were we talking about?
The weather.
The weather. Fuck the weather.
Fuck everything.
We're enjoying some beverages while we podcast. I feel it's better to podcast
With a beverage?
with a beverage
Yes.
to get the juices flowing. There's a lot going on in the news. I was thinking of
Dude.
discussing some news articles. I finally got around to United Airlines has a situation going on. Do you know the United Airlines situation?
So what had happened was, from my understanding, United Airlines overbooked a flight, and they were trying, it was a fully booked flight, and they were trying to get people to remove themselves from the plane voluntarily.
Before that, though, what I read is that United Airlines always overbooks so that they have 100% flight capacity.
When the plane leaves.
Under the assumption that there's going to be a certain amount of people that don't get on.
Yes.
So go ahead.
But so I guess United Airlines was trying to get these people to move so that they could get some of their own personnel to a different airport so that they could be there to perform a different job.
Kick off paying customers
Exactly.
to put on their own people.
And from what I had heard, again, all of this is fucking hearsay. It's hard to
Right.
it's hard to
Dakota, you're representing Fox News. I'm going to be representing
no.
CNN.
But I guess the guy that got the shit kicked out of him was a doctor,
right?
And had patients waiting for him.
Oh, okay. I didn't
like
read that much.
A bunch of appointments.
Like he was
and everything.
he was heading to patients and shit.
Yes, he was on his way there, and they told him, "Hey, man, you got to get up and get out of your seat." And he was like, "No."
How did they? Does it say anywhere like how they randomly got to this guy? Well, I mean, it was just random that they happened to get to this guy, or did they?
I think that they it
was an Asian
generated
dude.
it on a computer and was like, "Hey, this guy and this guy."
This guy paid the least amount of money.
Randomly, yeah, he got it on some fucking. He bought his ticket 8 months ago.
Even before getting into there, what I read is they were offering people $400 to take another flight, and then when that didn't work, $800. And the hotel room and the flight for the next day at 3 p.m. I read that, and I guess no one took that deal either. Yeah, and so they fucking did they punched the guy?
Oh, dude, I guess that they.
I saw 2 videos, one from the front and one from the back, and I couldn't really see what they did to him. But there's screaming going on.
Yeah.
And then they're dragging the guy out, and his glasses are kind of hanging off of his face a little bit.
He's all bloodied.
I mean, it did.
Nose region.
Maybe. I mean, it said that he was bleeding, but it didn't really look that way.
That wasn't.
I mean, it could have been a bad angle. It could have been a bad angle, but.
Or that it was shot with a fucking cell phone.
He looked like he was.
It's a high resolution video right there. That's what that is.
Did they really need to punch the guy? Don't they have tasers or something?
But why the fuck is this guy getting tased to be removed
Not
from
that
the
makes it better. Not that that makes it better. Not that that makes it better. But I mean, if you're to tase somebody, no matter who uses the taser, it's going to be the same amount of tasing that goes on, regardless. Maybe there's a weaker cop opposed to a buff cop that could kill somebody with one punch.
Yeah.
I mean, maybe I'm coming at it at the wrong angle, but that's what it's like.
He should have been tased. That's the answer.
Was it just the one guy, or did they forcibly remove other people? Or they're
I thought so.
They get him off the plane. They're what just happened?
Is that they were getting 2 people off the plane.
That's all they needed.
That's all they needed.
Okay.
2 people.
2 people.
And so all those offers were made. Then it came back that they just randomly generated 2 names on the plane, because obviously they have a database of who's on the fucking plane.
Right.
So randomly generate 2 names. First guy was like, "Yeah, cool, whatever."
Oh, so one guy.
Yes.
Okay.
And then the second guy was like, "No, dude.
Mm-hmm.
No, pick somebody else." And
did he?
I don't know if
not
it was,
that this makes it any better. But did he
Delta?
say "I'm a doctor. I need to get somewhere"?
Should
or was
he
just
have to?
No.
Oh, Oreo, you're stuck, dude. What are you doing? What are you doing, buddy?
Dakota's having technical difficulties with the dog.
Ah, he's stuck as fuck. Anyways,
was he?
I feel like this argument can't really progress past the fact that
I'm not arguing for United Airlines, by the way.
This guy's civil liberties were threatened and were denied.
Yeah, no, he was totally fucking.
Yeah, he paid for the place. Everything's fucking cool.
And
what else do you do?
It seemed like he was doing that kind of stubborn, I'm not getting off kind of thing.
Because he shouldn't have to get off the fucking plane. What argument can you make for yes, that guy should have gotten off the plane? No, United should have planned their shit accordingly. And then how is there I just don't understand how people enjoy playing devil's advocate. If that makes
I'm not
any
trying
sense.
to play devil's advocate. I'm just trying to get the facts out there. It was wrong. What happened was totally fucked up. I don't know how this shit still happens in this day and age with everything that goes on. I mean...
And what I'm confused on is who removed him from the airplane?
It looked like it was police.
Air marshals?
No. It looked like it was the police.
Sting and his buddies were there and...
Yeah, Sting's
threatening to send an SOS to the world.
I'll be watching you, buddy.
That was after the police, by the way. That was the solo stuff.
I thought that was police. No, that was police, dude.
No.
Alright, hold on. Let's, alright. 11 hours ago. 2 hours ago. The CEO of United Airlines apologized again Tuesday amid a global uproar sparked when a passenger was dragged screaming from his seat on a flight that, it turns out, was not even overbooked. It says it was not overbooked, which makes it even worse.
Yeah, because they removed him to get employees to where they were going to go.
Sorry. Radio silence. Okay, so United spokesman said Tuesday that all seats on United Express Flight 3411 were filled, but the plane was not overbooked, as the airline previously reported. Okay, so it wasn't overbooked, but it was, the limit was filled.
Yeah, they were at the limit.
Instead, United and regional affiliate Republic Airlines, which operated the flight, selected 4 passengers to be removed to accommodate crew members needed in Louisville the next day. The passengers were selected based on a combination of criteria spelled out in United's contract of carriage, including frequent flyer status, fare type, check-in time, and connecting flight implications, among others, according to United. So, everyone who wasn't accommodated for by everything that they've done paid the most, this. So the bare minimum people that just bought a plane ticket and got on were the ones they were selected from. That's what it sounds like.
Yeah.
3 passengers went quietly. This is where the plot thickens. The 4th, who was literally pulled out of his seat and off the plane, was
Dun, dun, dun.
David Dow, a physician in Elizabethtown, Kentucky. Late Tuesday, CNBC reported that a pair of Chicago attorneys are representing him. He's undergoing treatment in a Chicago hospital for unspecified injuries. Sorry for the silence here. Okay, so...
What was that?
The email.
Oh, muy popular.
It's mostly junk. The situation was unfortunately compounded with one of the passengers we politely asked to deplane refused, and it became necessary to contact Chicago Aviation security officers to help. So security at the airport, doesn't sound like the air marshal was involved. While I deeply regret this situation arose, I also emphatically stand behind all of you, and I want to commend you for continuing to go above and beyond to ensure we fly right. So it was the airline security, it sounds like. And I guess there was some like Twitter hit that one of the other airlines fucking made at, I think Southwest made a joke at fucking United's.
Fly Southwest, we won't hit you.
Yeah, it was something like that.
Yeah.
It was something like that. Let me see. I thought it was funny. So Southwest, jab at United. I don't know. I saw it somewhere, but it was something like, you know, we won't hit you. It was something really close to that.
I don't know. That whole thing's fucking ridiculous. The guy should not have been asked to leave his seat in the first place, and I don't know. I feel like people should have the right to refuse. That they've paid for a service. They've paid for, they've paid for that. And,
Absolutely.
And he did everything. It's different. Like if he had showed up late and asking them to hold the plane, because then he's asking them to hold the plane.
Right, and
he did everything he was supposed to. There was no reason for him to be removed from the flight other than the fact that United didn't plan correctly.
Right,
to have
saving
their
those
people,
4 seats.
Exactly.
And even then, like,
that's not the guy's problem. It's not it's not his problem. And same for the other people who went peacefully, man. It's not their problem. The other people were a little more lax about it, but I feel like that guy totally has the right to be like, no.
Absolutely.
I paid for this service, and you will give me this service at this time that we agreed upon when I purchased this service.
Right.
Yeah.
So that's something that I recently looked at.
Yeah. And then the other big one that was shocking to me was the
Syria attacks?
Yeah, the chemical weapons attacks in Syria.
Right.
Dude.
So Syria, who did Syria attack initially? Where did they
their own
shoot?
People.
They attacked their own people.
Yes.
Why did they do that?
So there's been a civil war that's been going on in Syria since the early 2000s.
Okay.
And what's the leader's name? Bashar al-Assad. Yeah, pretty much. Yeah, Syria's in that region.
I hope that wasn't offensive to anybody.
No, but he's been carrying out attacks on rebel cities and basically just doing this kind of shit to his own people.
Okay.
It all started with a school in the South End. I watched a documentary on it the other day on HBO, and it was pretty badass. But
okay.
Again, I haven't memorized all of the details, but
You're
all
not
started
a scholar
with
in this situation.
With a
You're
school.
not fucking. You didn't just get off of United Airlines
from Syria
to report to us. You're not a correspondent over in Syria.
Yeah. No.
Also on the way home from Syria, some guy got kicked off.
They don't report on that there though. They got bigger problems.
So you call that a twofer?
Yeah, and what was more concerning is the retaliatory attacks that, like, we bombed the living shit out of one of their air bases.
Yeah, so Trump fucking... bombed one of their air bases.
I'm not an interventionalist at all.
Meaning,
I don't think that it is our responsibility to police and engage in conflicts that pose no imminent threat to us.
Mm-hmm.
That doesn't mean...
Not our business, is what you're saying?
That doesn't mean that there shouldn't be... I feel like that's what, like, the UN is there for, and all of these coalitions that were created after
So when you say the
World War
UN's
II,
there for that, you mean in what capacity? Is
the United Nations,
right, I know
it's
what you're
their
talking
job
about.
to police and intervene when countries are stepping out of line, like, yo, dude, we're the UN, like, hey, you can't be doing that. And I feel like...
But on what authority? Like, I mean...
On what authority?
Not on what authority, but like the UN says don't do that.
What are the consequences?
No, what do they have? What kind of pull do they have to make sure that that's reinforced?
They're the fucking United Nations.
As far as I know, and I'm gonna sound stupid, the United Nations is like, what, 1 or 2 representatives from every nation that hook up in DC, right?
I believe,
and they just chill out and talk. They podcast all day long.
They podcast, but
okay, so it's in New York then.
And shit. Yeah, I believe the UN is in New York.
There's just a bunch of representatives from all the countries.
And it's not every country. There are countries that just refuse to engage in the UN, or have not been invited because of things that they do.
Right. So there are some non-invitees.
But I feel like that's who should be going and talking to them. And the UN's already been there.
So, like, if Syria is
not the
represented,
first time.
under the assumption Syria is represented in the United Nations, it's for open discussion, right? That's like... But, I mean, it's that thing, like... It's kind of like the HOA, right? Do you have... Is it HOA that I'm thinking of?
Homeowners Association?
Right, are you part of that?
Hell no. I bought a house without an HOA because I didn't want to be in
exactly,
an
and that's what I did the first time too. I was like, no HOA, so you can just cross those ones right off the list.
Yep.
But it's kind of like that. It's like you got a bunch of people in the community, and they say your grass has to be cut this way. You know, no cars on cinder blocks in your front yard. You know what I'm saying? So I mean, it's that kind of situation. But then it's like, fuck you. Don't tell me how I can run my own yard.
But the UN has, in my understanding, to stick with that analogy, similar pull. They can fine you, and they can, but they're not going to come.
Yeah, but okay, hold on now. Let's take this one step at a time. Down. If they fine you, like the UN were to like, How does that analogy go with like the UN? Like they find Syria or
They would find Syria or
and Syria's
place
like I'm not
sanctions
going to
trade sanctions against Syria, or and then I believe that it can hit a certain point where they may enact military action against that country. But again,
now when you say
that's the collective UN. And they are a collective of a series of countries.
Right.
And
so,
all of those countries would agree, like yeah, fuck
us,
that guy.
Germany, Italy, Spain, England.
But
then all those guys would be like, well, we're not going to do anything, but you can. Right? Like, I think bringing the UN into the situation seems kind of like, I don't think they can do anything.
There has to be, or there should be.
There should be.
And again, there's some
I know
kind
where you're
of
going with
there's some kind of should land that we live in. There should be some entity that is not the United States of America that goes and imposes the will of making sure that human rights are taken care of, and that stuff like chemical weapons being used
and just
dropped in the middle of a fucking city, dude. And there are children and women.
Is Syria just like fucking Korea, North and South?
What do you mean? Is Syria
like Korea? Because isn't North Korea and South Korea warring, right?
They're two different countries.
They're two different countries, but they're two different countries because they drew that line in the sand with each other, right?
Yes.
So is Syria on that same kind of road where they're like warring with each other?
But they're not willing to give over, like, oh, okay, that's your half and we'll be cool for now. It's like the Syrian government.
There's got to be two Syrian governments, right?
No.
So one Syrian government.
It's literally like Star Wars. There's the empire, the existing empire that's been ruling forever.
Okay,
and then there's the rebel army, and it's a loose collective, and there's no real leadership. There's one of the guys who's leading it, and like kind of a figurehead for it, is one of the soccer players for the Syrian national team, dude.
And he just saw what was going Castro,
on.
Who was a baseball player.
Oh, really?
Yes.
Whatever. I don't know. I don't think that communism and like the red threat is real.
You don't believe in that, like China and Cuba?
In that, a truly communistic society is not a bad thing.
Mm-hmm.
And in small collectives, like if you were to take a
town...
see,
that's that thing. And you're talking about small collectives essentially breaking away from the group.
No. You're cutting me off.
Okay.
So... communism in small numbers. If you were to take a town of 150 people and everybody just did their job and everybody took an equal share out,
mm-hmm.
it would work.
Mm-hmm.
And the reason that is because you can look across the street or you can drive down the street and you know all of your neighbors, you know them by name, and you see how it benefits absolutely everyone.
Right, everyone pulls their own weight.
And there's accountability. So, like, hey, I noticed that Bill's fucking truck is still here, and he's not, like, he's the guy who's supposed to be growing the food.
Mm-hmm.
And Bill's the grow the food guy, and he's still fucking here. And then you go knock on the door, like, yo, Bill, what the fuck, dude? Right. You're not pulling your weight.
Right.
Let's talk about this. When you get out to a large enough number, and why communist societies have struggled, the USSR, China had horrible luck in the beginning of their whole communist regime.
But they're still communist, aren't they?
Yes, but they had millions of people starve. But where China kind of turned a leaf, they've engaged in capitalism. They have allowed capitalism in. There are people who can go and get different jobs and get nicer cars and get bigger houses and and it's not all provided by the government. They've engaged in capitalism.
Pick your own.
They've taken the motor that capitalism creates, and that's why China has one of the greatest economies in the world right now.
Mm-hmm.
Is because they've allowed capitalism to drive that, because that's what it does. If somebody can come up with the next big thing and they have that drive to do so, knowing that if I do that, I get this, and this, and this, and this that I want.
Right. Earn
more money, get a bigger house,
work harder,
buy some,
earn more.
Yeah.
Opposed to
just work hard, and everybody gets the same shit. That I think that China has adapted that. It's not communism in its purest form.
So it's pick communism, pick capitalism.
They
whatever
can
works
coexist.
out for you, right? They're
Look
coexisting.
at what's going on now. We are okay. So we look at the welfare state, the creation of the welfare state.
Mm-hmm.
The welfare is inherently communist.
Is it?
It is.
Everyone
because
gets the
in a
same?
capitalistic society, if you're going purely capitalistic, if you decide that you don't want to go to work or you can't work,
mm-hmm.
you don't get anything.
Mm-hmm.
Why are we giving you money and access to medicine and all of this stuff if we're not... Why are we giving that to you if
you're not earning it?
If you're not earning it.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, to help out the...
It's communistic.
Right.
It's a commune. It's the idea that everybody needs to take care of each other. And, again...
Or we need to take care of them.
I feel like we are a pseudo-communistic society in the same way that China is now.
Mm-hmm. Well, I mean, look.
There's a middle
I'm
ground.
no communist, all right? But when you see fuckers... And, this is where communism started anyways. Like, the reason communism started is why communism sounds good, is because you've got people who aren't pulling their own weight getting paid the same.
That's the downside.
Right, that's the downside. That's how communism started, is by people being like, hey, motherfucker over there is a lazy slob. He's not doing anything, but he's still getting paid the same that I'm getting paid while I'm working my ass off.
That's where communism started?
Right, that's where the idea of communism started. Isn't it?
No. It's a book called The Communist Manifesto by Karl Marx.
Right, but it spawned out of the idea that someone didn't like the way things were. Wait.
No, they didn't like the idea
I'm losing myself.
That greed was taking over the planet, and again, if everything were to go purely capitalistic, don't
get frustrated.
I feel like there's an adaptation to be made. And everything's about balance. If you were to take a purely idealistic thing and try to apply it, there are going to be things that you overlooked. There are going to be things that fall by the wayside in that you may not even intend to. But something has to take care of that. And where you take care of that and where you learn to take care of those things is by being adaptable and to look at other things.
I agree.
And be non-egotistical in your idea. Capitalism is great, and it is a great economic engine, and to some degree, I feel like we are being lied to also, and there is a ruling class, no matter what we like to think, and it developed
the 1%.
I believe that it developed well before the idea of capitalism was given to us. I believe that the idea of capitalism is an engine developed by those people.
Mm-hmm.
Regardless, we have some degree of control over the things that we buy and the lifestyle that we live and the way that we're able to conduct ourselves in this life. And I feel like that freedom and that power is awesome. But also, there are people who are not able to engage in that.
And those people should be shot and killed?
No. That's the purely communistic or the purely capitalistic idea, is that it's a dog-eat-dog world, and if you're not the dog eating, you're the dog being eaten. Mm-hmm. Period. End of story. There's no in-betweens. And it's hard to look at people starving on the streets. It's really hard to do that. But I think that taking care of all of them and scooping them up, carrying them like a baby, and everything's going to be okay, isn't the answer either. I feel like there's somewhere in between. And again, we started out purely capitalistic, all the way through. I would even say like until the Great Depression. I feel like the Great Depression was a huge learning tool for us, in that when there's no money for us to be a capitalistic society, we have to take care of each other. We have to be communistic in those times. Why? Because
right.
when
So
the economy recovers, when everything's exactly, yeah.
There needs to be room to budge. But
Again,
we live in a society where there are the people who are at the top who are not willing to budge.
I don't blame the people at the top. I don't blame the people at the top for all of our problems.
So, like,
they
the
exist.
billionaires aren't willing to get rid of even one penny of their money.
And that's their decision. I feel like you are not entitled. You are responsible to pay your taxes.
But
Number
you
one.
know these
That is it.
motherfuckers are not.
And now we're not addressing the problem. We're addressing the fact that all of these loopholes exist for those people to not pay their taxes, and that is what's fucked.
Right.
We should not be relying on these people to just give their money to
And
people.
all these politicians.
Oh, I have too much, so you be...
I'm not saying that they need to
like,
give it away, but there needs to be, like you said, the taxes thing. Like,
I don't understand why our tax code is like 2,000 pages long. It should be pretty fucking simple. Businesses, you pay this much. Individual people, you pay this much. No matter what the fuck you make that year, just plan on 15% of it goes the fuck away, and it pays for your roads and your schools. Oh, well, I'm only using this part of the road, just because I make that much more money doesn't mean I'm using more road. Then don't make more money. That's part of the consequences. You know that if it was just that simple. If
and
it
our
was
taxes just went up, right?
Simple. I don't fucking know. It's hard to
our
track.
Taxes just
Dude,
went up.
I just got $4,000 back on my tax return. $4,000. That means that somehow, after paying all of my taxes out of my paycheck, and all of that money just goes away, they're going to give me, out of everything that I gave them, they're going to give me back $4,000 for some ungodly fucking reason.
So you're saying they shouldn't have taken it out to begin with, if they're just going to give it back?
Or you should just okay, Dakota made, for easy numbers, Dakota made $1,000 this week. We're gonna take 10% of that. We're gonna take $100, and that's your taxes.
Right.
That's my money goes to the
and
government.
You'll never see it again.
And you'll never fucking see
no
it again.
Point, no
You'll
reason
see
to
it when
deal
some
with
dude
like tax
shows up.
season.
There's no need. There shouldn't be any reason to deal with tax season. Tax
season
season exists.
A good idea would be like
it's a flat tax idea, and this has been brought forward by many people since this kind of taxation was founded.
Like the Boston Tea Party,
dude. Flat tax. It's hard to argue. No matter what, if you make $100 million this next year, 10% goes to the government.
So like
no matter what.
Or whatever 10% of that is. $100,000?
It doesn't even fucking matter what it is. No matter what you make, flat tax.
Flat tax,
period.
10%.
Okay, businesses.
And we don't have to deal with the beginning of the year, like, did you go to school? Did you register your car? Do you have kids? Did you buy a house? What do you pay on this and this and this and this? Okay, well, we'll give you back 1%.
Dude, $4,000. Do you know what I could have done with $4,000 over the year? I could have fucking saved it. Exactly like I'm going to do with this.
I don't know how you got $4,000. Because you bought a house?
I don't fucking know.
Because I didn't get $4,000.
I don't know how I got $4,000, dude. I have
By yourself?
I have never gotten $4,000. No, Nicole and I were married. We filed jointly.
Yeah, but you only got married at the end of the year.
So?
The majority of the year, you were single.
So? Then why would I file my taxes that way?
Well, we did it separately until this year. Because we were not married. I mean, I don't think it really matters.
Either way.
I just figured the majority of it, we were separate.
Dude, $4,000.
Right, I made $2,000. I made half that much. And we have a kid.
Why should that matter?
To me?
No, to the tax people. Why should it matter if you have a kid or not? Why should it matter if you fucking
Well, you know, people
bought a
with
house?
kids get more money back on their taxes.
Exactly.
You don't have
Why?
a kid.
You're right, but why?
I don't know. And she had 2 jobs.
There's no fucking reason for it. Why should any of that matter? If you decided that you were going to work 60 hours a week, every fucking week,
80.
for 52 weeks a year,
Mm-hmm.
whatever that dollar amount at the end of the year is,
You're
you pay
heated.
this percent. Period. End of fucking story.
Why do we even need taxes?
Because we do need to pay for our infrastructure and all of the benefits that we reap from our society.
But there's not another way to... Like, look, I work for a place that makes their money from the people who go into the store to buy it. It should just be cyclical, right? So there should just be kind of like the wheels are just kind of turning everywhere to where everyone's
Okay.
getting money rather than
So that's how
like
that,
I go in and
that's
I buy
how-
something from a store and that's how I pay for the people who work at that store.
Yes. So roads. We like when our roads are nice and smooth so they don't eat up our car's tires and we don't drive through massive potholes and we don't have massive four-wheel drive.
Even though we still do.
We do. But there's some guy who comes through and fixes that.
Right.
So the government pays that guy.
The government that makes up all this money anyways.
How do they make up that money?
Who prints the money?
The Federal Reserve, which isn't a government entity, by the way.
It's not.
No.
What kind of entity is that?
It's a private entity. It's Federal Reserve is part of the World Bank.
So the banks print their own money, is what you're saying.
No, there's one in particular that does.
Okay. So one bank prints money. And where does that money go?
Here's what, if you were to just continue to, and it's part of what's
I
happened.
thought the government printed the money.
No, it's the Federal Reserve.
And the Federal Reserve, who
Dude.
pays them?
Look it up.
Do they pay themselves?
I would ask you to look up and do some research on what the Federal Reserve is. It is mind-boggling that something like that even fucking exists. Anyways. You have to if the government is to continue to pump money into the United States, if our government is continuing to do that, they have to make some of that back in some way. They have to be compensated for that.
It's just
somehow.
a weird system.
And
it's a really weird
if you look
system.
So we collect a shitload of money for taxes.
Uh-huh.
But we spend more in defense spending than like the next
So paying for the
For- military and intelligence agencies.
So FBI, CIA,
Yes.
DEA,
I don't know if DEA is included on that
Department
list.
of
It's drug enforcement.
Drug Enforcement,
Yeah, drug enforcement agency.
ATF,
Alcohol,
tobacco,
and
firearms.
All which are legal. I don't know why there's an entity
Homeland
to overlook
Security.
that. But again, I don't think.
Well, no. Because they're still bootlegging. They're
Who
still
fucking cares?
illegal.
If some dipshit wants to pay some premium price for illegal booze, let him. Oh, illegal booze is known to cause blindness. If somebody wants to listen to the fact
No.
booze,
It doesn't have to be like home brewed. I mean, which is a separate thing. But like, isn't there certain places like you can't take certain like even like cases of beer like that's what like Smoking the Bandit. You ever see that movie? Granted, that was like the 70s, but that whole thing was like taking a truck full of like Budweiser or something across state lines. Certain states consider that bootlegging, is when you're taking it from one state to another when it's not allowed. It might be allowed now in modern day.
Then why, if states are allowed to create their own independent rules on such substances, why is there a federal entity called the ATF?
Because the government doesn't want you doing stuff that they don't want you doing.
But at what level is that a problem?
At the
So
government
there's a federal responsibility to enforce Kentucky or whatever.
When you put it in these terms, it all sounds like just let us do what we want until we hurt somebody, right?
I'm devoutly libertarian. I believe that people should be able to do whatever the fuck they want.
Govern themselves.
You know what we do? We tax the living shit out of the stuff that's terrible for you. If you decide that you today want to go out and buy some crystal meth, and you know full well what the consequences of smoking crystal meth are, and that's why you don't smoke crystal meth.
Right.
But
that's why
if you could drive down to the 7-Eleven
and buy some crystal meth.
and buy some crystal meth, why shouldn't we be able to tax that? Number one. Number two, why should we do anything to stop you from doing that? Why? You have made that decision, and you're going to make that decision whether or not it's legal.
I mean, look,
we are missing out.
Let's bring that back down to the basic level. So let's say crystal meth. It's bad for you, right? But I mean, I can go fucking melt down some plastic fucking Tupperware or something, right? And it can be equally as bad for my system as crystal meth.
It's just not alluring because the high isn't good.
Right. So what exactly are we, and I'm a conservative, but I do believe people should be able to do what they want. So if we're saying that the government is making it illegal to do drugs. Now,
dude,
all this in my head is making me sound like everything is irrelevant.
We
just drank some alcohol.
We just drank some alcohol. That's a drug.
Right. It is a substance that alters your mind, I guess. Your body and your mind. Hey! Oreo! What the hell is that all about?
Come here and fucking sit down. Here you go.
Oreo, go lay down on your bed. Go. Okay, so alcohol we can drink.
And that's legal.
And it's not all that expensive. So it's not taxed crazy. I know cigarettes are taxed high, right?
Oh, yeah.
And now they're starting to roll out marijuana being okay to do.
And they're going to tax the shit out of that?
So, if you're going to do drugs, them saying that we can't isn't going to stop you.
Exactly.
So the drug dealers are essentially making tax-free money.
Yes.
Whereas the government can go in and be like, whatever you want to do is perfectly legal as long as you're not harming someone else.
Yeah. If you decide you want to go out and do crystal meth, that's totally fine. The instant that you decide that you're going to do crystal meth until you can't pay your bills anymore, and then you're going to go and fucking break into some dude's car and steal his car stereo, then we got a fucking problem.
Right, and then that's breaking the law, whether the drugs you're doing are legal or not.
Exactly.
So, essentially, regardless of the fact that what we're saying or doing, whether we came up with this idea first or the millionth person to come up with this idea, if the government were to go in and dip their fingers into every single illegal drug there is, every single illegal activity that there is, it might actually make the streets a lot safer because all the pushers will be taken away. Because there will be nothing to push because people can go in wherever and get it legally. So there won't be any drug dealers who are fucking strong-arming people, hurting people, where's my money, blah, 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 when you can't even buy something without getting it. You can't even get something without having money to pay for it.
Exactly.
You can get rid of, pimps by making prostitution
Legal
government
and legitimized.
Starbucks.
look at the state of Nevada, and I know that we catch flack all the time for having legal prostitution, but I've lived here all my life, and not once have I fucked a prostitute.
Right.
Not once.
Right. Because you don't care.
Because it's my choice whether or not to do those things.
You've done everything you wanted to
exactly.
do, and you've seen the consequences of everything there is to do. And you do what you want to do, and everything you do is well within the law. And
that's my decision because I want to live my life.
So if the government is listening, our only viewer, my only viewer at Single Podcast is Big Brother. Like, it seems like it would be in the government's best interest to legalize absolutely everything.
Yes.
Like, I think the biggest problem that people have with legalizing drugs, quotation marks, is I don't want my kids to get it. Your kids are going to get it whether it's legal or illegal.
If they're the kind of person who's going to do
exists.
something. Exactly.
The only way for you to be fully comfortable with your children not getting into something is by eradicating it completely off the face of the earth, which there is no way for that to happen.
Yeah. It's the whole Pandora's box theory. You have discovered that particular compound that when you ingest it makes people feel like this. Regardless of the consequences, regardless of what else is going on, there are going to be people who will go and do that.
Right, and there are plenty of people who ruin their lives becoming addicted to things that are not illegal.
Exactly.
So, I mean, alcohol, gambling, even harmless things people ruin their lives on.
These are things that are illegal in places around the country. Even in the United States, they have entire dry counties
because alcohol, like, so that's a self-contained county.
It's a county that decides like no booze. Period. End of story, dude.
Like
Utah,
you can't
right? You can't buy booze
in Utah.
I don't know if there's any in Utah.
Well, I mean, the more Mormon populated cities, like,
I know that you can't buy booze on Sundays, like, period, end of story.
Sure.
None.
I know, and there are certain places, like, after 6 o'clock, on the weekends, blah, blah, blah.
And they don't sell it at
Walmart.
They don't sell it at grocery stores. They don't sell it at anything. There are certain stores that you go to, and it is a liquor store, and that's the only thing that they sell there.
In Denver, that's how it was.
Yeah.
When I lived in Denver. So it's like in our situation, if we were to go up to Smith's, they wouldn't have any alcohol in there, but, like, they would have a spot.
Yeah.
They'd have an alcohol store. Like, they'd have a liquor store right there in the corner of the parking lot where you can go. That's how it was in Colorado.
Oh, really?
Yeah, so, like, we would go to King Soopers, and right there was the liquor store, but you gotta get in there before 6 o'clock, otherwise you ain't gonna get anything.
They close at 6?
Yeah.
Oh, damn.
There are a lot of places that are very regulated on how they deal with alcohol and everything else. But fucking Colorado, of course, had, like, a shit ton of dispensaries. Like, it was almost easier to get marijuana than it was to get alcohol in Colorado. Go figure.
I want to smoke pot with you so bad, Matt.
It will never happen. It'll never
Someday.
happen. No, it'll.
Someday.
I don't want to put smoke into my lungs. I'm not really even wanting alcohol in my
or even like an edible.
No, I don't want to do that. I've got no interest. In the same way, I have no interest in sticking my dick in some dude.
No. I remember you saying something very similar about drinking.
Yes, but I grew up. I'm a full adult now.
Yeah, you think you're a full adult?
No,
you thought you were a full adult at the time?
No, I'm a full adult. No, there's no way. I'm not interested in that. I've got scholarly pursuits.
Like what?
I'm not interested in that at all.
Dude.
No.
Just get high and, like, sit around a campfire and...
Look, maybe when I'm, like, 60 years old, okay? You'll still be in your prime 50s, all right?
No, dude. So, I've resolved... I've already... This is happening. When I get, like, incapacitated old, like, crazy
80.
old, gonna die, dude. Like, I don't know when the age number is gonna be.
Okay.
But, like, when I'm, like, hit something terminal, dude, I'm gonna go do crack.
Really?
I'm gonna do crack, dude.
You're gonna do the worst thing there is to do.
I'm gonna do... Because... And here's my motivation.
Why not live a little?
No. There are people who experience this and decide that it is better than everything else in the world. That it is.
They say the crack is better than everything else in the world.
That it is worth throwing the rest of their lives away for. Is just this substance.
Isn't that the idea behind it? Is that it's making them think that that's what it is. I can go and have a lot of fun sitting down and reading a book or getting into a movie.
So,
like, there are good movies out there that, like, I can sit down and I can watch, and I think that it's the greatest 90, 120 minutes that I spent doing that.
Okay. So, crack is a derivative of cocaine. Cocaine immediately makes you feel like you are king of the world. Now, crack is a concentrated version of that.
Crack is more concentrated than cocaine.
Yes.
So, like, look, okay, I've seen the movie. Did you see the movie Blow?
Yes.
At the beginning of that movie, they show you how they make it, right? They're, like, on a plantation, and they're taking
Coca
leaves.
Yeah.
And so crack is coming from the same place?
Crack is crack cocaine. It's a more pure form.
It's a rock, right?
Yes, it's condensed and it's more.
So then
of the
you're
good
saying, like,
stuff
if you
in
take
a
the
smaller
rock and you
amount.
crush it, that becomes cocaine?
No.
Okay. So what's point A to B? What's the middle there?
I don't fucking know.
You don't.
I just know that it's better. And
I
people,
watch Breaking Bad.
I know people do cocaine like on the weekends and they're like semi-functioning adults. And people do crack and then they never come
They're
back
not-
from that shit.
Really?
Or they'll
That's
spend
it, you're
years,
saying.
dude, just years fucking strung out on the shit. Or like heroin. It's in that same heroin, crystal meth, and crack. Are like the three trifecta of like shit. Don't fucking do it.
So
Don't
mix them
just
together.
don't. Oh, you know, dude. But I guarantee there's people who did do that and like
People who have mixed drugs to see if they can get.
yeah,
a
and they
better
call
thing.
them something else. I know that like if
The
you take
speedball.
acid and Molly, it's called a hippie flip. And like yeah, or like a speedball is like
Speedball
something
heroin and cocaine, isn't it?
heroin and cocaine. Then I guess.
I think so. I mean,
But they come up with other names for this shit. Anyways, people decide that after they do crack or meth or heroin, that feeling is so good. It's something that makes you feel so amazingly good that you're willing to throw away the rest of your life. And these are people who I've heard stories of people who were like,
well, no. Look, you've got to look
You know,
at it
like,
differently, though. Like
living in a
it's
house
not
that
like
they
that they're
own and-
taking
and-
crack to throw away their life. Sometimes it's a matter of like they're just doing crack, and it gets to the point where they've thrown their life away without really realizing. You know, like teenagers doing crack amongst friends. You know what I'm saying? Whatever, dude.
there are
Fuck you.
teenagers doing crack?
I'm assuming that all the kids these days are doing drugs.
Kids these days are doing the crack and the hula hoops and the Zimas. You damn kids with your rock and roll music.
Whatever. Okay, anyways, there was something I wanted to ask you about.
What's that?
Something that I've never talked to anybody else about, but I'm sure there are plenty of people who've gone through this. It'd be nice if we had like a couple other people to sound off on this, because all I've got is you. But like going shopping. We're switching gears here a little bit. Like me, I do not care about shopping for clothes. Am I by myself on this situation?
No.
Like
No.
if I want some clothes, I'll get it, but I don't like. I'm not fucking looking at all the multiple choices that there are.
Yeah.
It's like I need some shorts, I get some shorts.
Exactly, and you know what shorts you like, so you go to the place that has the shorts you like, and then you go and get the shorts that you like.
Right.
And then you leave.
Right.
Yep. That was exactly what I was about to say. Because okay.
Have you gone shopping?
I need work pants. What kind of place carries the work pants that I like to wear? Okay, then we walk in there, and I go right over to the work pants, 32 or 34, 34. That's the size that I need. Bam. I don't even try them on because I know that I like the pants.
Yeah, you don't need to try them on.
No, fuck trying on clothes.
Right,
fuck
it's a waste of time.
Clothes, dude.
Even if it takes 2 minutes,
and
it's a waste of time.
even if they fit perfectly in the store, you wash them and they don't fit anymore.
Right.
Fuck that. Yeah. No.
Now, what about like when you don't want any clothes, but you happen to be out with your significant other, and like you wind up in an area where there are clothes?
So, there have been times, and I'm
where
kind
it's
of
not
proud.
like you, like it's like, hey, you know, it's Saturday morning, we need to go get some shopping done. Your significant other, it's like, you know, I want to get some clothes.
There's a clothes store. Let's
right,
go
but
check it
you're
out.
together.
Yeah.
And the amount of time spent on clothes with the other person
Seems ridiculous.
but there's nothing else around. Like, what do I do?
For me, I'm kind of proud of this. I engage in girly clothes shopping. I engage in like, you know what? I like that shirt, and I've discovered that if I start giving my opinion, and
that only breaks the surface. Dude.
No. What it does is it hurries that along.
I don't think so,
dude. I went out. This was right when Nicole and I started living together. She realized that I had 2 pairs of pants. I had one that I would wear.
Something we can all relate to, I'm sure.
2 pairs of pants. 2 pairs of pants. Why the fuck do I have one that I can wear, and then I can wash the other ones, and everything's cool. And then I can wear these for a few days.
3 pairs of shorts. 3 pairs of shorts. One rips. I would buy 2 more to replace it. Go on.
One rip, then you would end up with more shorts.
Right, but then like once one of those is done, I've got 3 still. So it's just to kind of like, in case something else happens, I've got
knowing that the other
spare.
shorts, so like you bought 2 at the same time, you know another pair is about to go.
Right.
When one goes,
right. So it's like about 3 to 4 pairs of shorts.
it's why you change both your taillights if one goes out.
Sure.
Because you know the other one's going soon.
Change them at the same time. Okay, so you have 2 pairs of pants.
2 pairs of pants. Went out shopping. I walk over. We go to Kohl's because I know Kohl's sells Levi's, and I like to wear Levi's for like.
So you and Nicole both go to Kohl's
yes.
together.
And then we spend 2 hours after that.
And you're entertained
looking
for
at
this
clothes.
2 hours.
Hell no. I was pissed, dude. I was pissed off. Pissed, dude. And ended up big argument about it, and I was pointing out exactly what you're saying. That's fucking ridiculous and unnecessary, and this, you know, my dad is the greatest person on the planet because he has the ability, for some odd reason, and I feel
tolerance is what you're talking about here.
No. I grew up in this kind of mentality, so I kind of need this sometimes. He looks at me and goes, well, that's a fucking asshole thing to do. And this is not the first or last occasion that my dad has called me, like, just straight up called me out of my shit. Like, dude, you're being an asshole. And here's why. You haven't taken the time to think about
your dad who's got 20 years on you.
How often does your girlfriend at the time sit there and watch you play video games? How often does she go out and go camping or go out and do guy shit? How often does she do that? Pretty often. Does she ever bitch and complain about it? Yeah, she might. It's not that bad though. What you need to do is learn to make that not as painful for you.
Right.
And how do you do that? You engage in it. One, it's finding some source of entertainment. And I still reserve the right, every time we go out and go shopping, to be a sarcastic asshole. I'll grab something on the rack. Ooh, this would look great on you.
So playing around, having
exactly.
fun.
Make it fun, but engage in the activity. I have not spent more than 45 minutes shopping since adapting that way of looking at it.
But still,
because here's what I like. Is like the worst okay, so this is what you like. Bam, 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 bam. It's dumb and it's terrible.
I would almost rather be willing to do any other activity than standing in a clothing store.
Because you don't engage in it. And it seems more arduous when you don't engage in it. It's like why you take your phone to the DMV. Have you ever tried going to the DMV without your phone?
I've been to the DMV without my phone.
It sucks. It takes forever. Dude, challenge. Next time you go to the DMV, don't pull out your phone. You'll spend an hour at the DMV, which is a totally normal amount.
You're challenging the wrong person. I am perfectly happy sitting and doing nothing plenty of times.
Then why is it different standing in a clothing store? That was an audible fart.
Because there's no place to sit down. If I could go and sit down somewhere,
you're not creative. I guarantee, dude. They've answered this question. They know that it sucks for guys to go shopping. Because
I don't know how long I'm waiting for. I'm not waiting for anything. There's nothing to wait for.
If you go to the fitting, you're waiting on your wife.
Shut your fucking mouth.
How long? That depends. Because she's going to ask you either way. She's going to ask you either way. She's going to ask you either way. Do you like this? Does this look good?
I am more than willing.
If you have that opinion up front,
I am more than willing.
Check this out. Yo, check this out. Yo, check this out. And then I go and sit outside the waiting room. Yeah, I was wrong. That one looked terrible. Yeah, that's the one. All right. Try on the other ones. Cool.
Yeah, but my taste is so far beyond anyone else's taste. If I didn't like something, or if I loved something, doesn't even matter.
To her?
Yes.
Then why is it imperative that you're there?
It's not. But we're together.
Then tell her to go fucking shopping on her own time with her own friends. There have been times that I've told Nicole that. Like, dude, I can't. No. You grab one of your girlfriends, go shopping. That's what girlfriends are for. But if we're out, again, yes, there have definitely been times where we're out and she's like, we're walking by the clothes section at Target and she's like, huh? I'm like, no. Come back later.
I just wanted to see if someone else was on the same.
That's my advice. When you engage in it, it becomes A, not as bad. Mm-hmm. B, it goes by way faster. And like the physical time spent doing that will go by faster.
If you say so, Dakota.
I swear.
All right. It's getting closer to our time to stop, right? Because you got to go somewhere by 7.
Yes, I got to be by the university by 7.
All right. As we did last time, questions for terrible people, Dakota. Would you agree to have people see you as stunningly attractive all the time in exchange for being allowed to have sex only a maximum of once every other month? Say that again. Would you agree to have people see you as stunningly attractive all the time in exchange for being allowed to have sex only a maximum of once every other month? So that's what, 6 times a year?
6 times a year.
But to be like the best looking person in the universe.
I already am.
Okay.
So that's kind of a weighted
under
question.
The assumption that you're not.
Under the guise of you being realistic.
Like this is under the assumption that dudes think you're fucking super hot, gay and straight. Same with chicks, gay and straight, thinking you're super hot, hotter than anyone they've ever seen.
No.
Like, I wish you had a vagina.
No, I'm just not like. I've come to grips with the fact that not everybody finds me attractive.
So basically, this question is saying that you can have sex with whoever you want, but it can only be 6 times a year.
I don't know, dude. I'm super not there. I'm super not even worried about anything like that.
January 15th. Boom, that's 1.
Yeah, and then March 15th.
March 15th. like once you're done with that one time, so you better not go too soon. You better fucking let it last.
Dude, it's been 2 months. I'm going soon.
Like, do you have a list of celebrities, Dakota?
Anne Hathaway is number 1.
Number 1.
And
so like
always has to.
January 15th rolls around.
My God, Anne Hathaway.
Anne Hathaway. I would go in 2 minutes.
I would drag my dick through a mile of glass to listen to her fart through a walkie-talkie. If I could confirm that it was her farting through the walkie-talkie, Done. Good
I
God.
want to make this happen.
Anne Hathaway, could you please fart into this walkie-talkie?
So it's like, see you in 60 days. Or whatever. The next number 2 on your list. You know what I mean? Like,
it doesn't. It just seems empty.
The other option
but
is whatever you
be,
want.
It also might be that I like having sex, and I like having it often. It's not. It's not like
whether it's a 1 or a 10.
1 or a 10. I like often as possible. Like 4 times a day, where like you hurt the next day.
See, the thing is though, like it is kind of a loaded question. It's like, well, what if like I am stunningly attractive to the person that I want to think that I'm stunningly attractive?
Or it could just not be. Dude, people's feelings are not weighted in reality.
Sometimes. Oh,
sometimes.
Serious face.
Sometimes they're not.
Right. Unrealistic expectations.
There have been times where sex was difficult for Nicole and I. Mm-hmm. Where like it just didn't seem to jive. We weren't on the same page about everything.
I can agree that happens.
You know,
absolutely,
it does happen, but
it sucks
I don't.
When that happens.
It does suck.
Because it
really
goes,
fucking
it goes
bad.
beyond.
And I'm the kind of person that I think that it's me, and I think the problem is always me. But I've come to the realization that that's just not the case. Mm-hmm. Sometimes people have other things going on, and
both parties probably internalize the situation when it doesn't go as planned.
When it doesn't go their way.
Right.
Again, Nicole's the kind of person that is like, you know, she just forgets about it, and it falls by the wayside, and I'm constantly like, yo, reminder, hey.
You're like, cutting your arm.
But for me, I instantly go to, I'm not the kind of person who blames like external stuff. I'm never the victim in my own head. Mm-hmm. Where it's like, oh, this has fucked me over, and I'm like I'm the problem, and I fuck everything up, and it's me, and
even if it is an external problem,
yes, and the problem is me always. That's the first thing that I go to, and that's just not always the case.
I'm the exact opposite of that. I externalize the problem rather internalize.
Yeah, there's nothing wrong with that. That's one of the 2 ways of dealing with it.
All right, Dakota. You've somehow managed to forget that it's the birthday of your best friend in the entire world. You realize this 2 minutes before they arrive at your house to hang out. What item that you currently own can you turn into the most believable, thoughtful gift that will be happily accepted? So homeboy shows up at your place to hang out. Like you see them parking, and you're like, "Oh fuck, it's so and so. It's their birthday." You're scrambling in your place. What do you own? Maybe like an unopened bottle of wine, an unopened bottle of booze somewhere.
No.
Some kind of hoodie. You've got no.
I don't know, dude. That's a tough
awesome items sitting in your place.
No.
That you can be
that I'm not. That I'm not like using heavily to where I could be like, oh hey, here's this brand new thing. Because you also don't want to hand somebody like, oh, here's a dusty Xbox that I obviously am giving you my Xbox because I forgot it's your birthday.
Like, well, okay, hold on. Let's add an addendum to this. So, I mean, this kind of reads as a physical, concrete gift. What about, like, what could you come up with on the spot? Like, you could be like,
an aluminum foil,
happy birthday! Let's go
hat.
get some fucking Olive Garden. We're gonna go hit the movies, and I'm gonna take you fucking Roller Kingdom.
We're gonna go roller skating. I can't wait for the couple skate.
It's like, I gotta go to work tomorrow.
Yeah.
You didn't know it was my birthday.
Yeah, I don't know.
What would be the non-concrete gift that you can come up with? I mean, dinner would be a nice start, but what could you come up with post-dinner? Where would you take someone out to dinner last minute if you found out it was their birthday?
I don't know, wherever they want.
Where do you want to go to eat?
Dinner's on me, buddy. Let's do this.
Fucking.
Although, I don't know. I've always made a small deal out of not only my birthday but other people's birthdays. Like, I don't owe you anything. You were fucking born
your birthday.
however many years ago. And I'm not saying fuck you on your birthday. I'm just saying
this says your best friend
I don't
in the entire
buy
world.
Any of my friends
Your brother shows
birthday
up.
gifts. I don't buy my brother a birthday gift.
And he's like, dude, it's my birthday. And you're like, what?
Our birthdays are 2 weeks apart. We just don't get each other anything. If we do, it's like a t-shirt with like something funny on it because we're both into funny t-shirts.
This is what
Who's not into a funny t-shirt?
This is what you should get your brother for his birthday this year. A t-shirt with a dick on it. Have you done that?
No.
It's time to do that.
No. He got me one for Christmas this last year that said "World's Okayest Brother." I was like, you motherfucker.
You're okay.
World's okayest
It's
brother.
pretty good. Not
You're
great.
alright or whatever.
You're alright or whatever. So fucking flippant about the situation. Who are you again? I actually got that shirt for Dad, but you can keep it.
They misprinted the last word, so.
Do you have aunts and uncles on your dad's side?
I have like a lot of extended family.
Do you
but
really? Is your dad the youngest of like 10?
1, 2, 3. 1, 2, 3, 4. So from my grandma
Your dad's
directly,
mother.
yes.
No, when you say your grandma,
My
your grandpa too, right?
No. So this is I got like a weird family tree.
A lot of halves.
Yes, a lot of haves and a lot of like
Have-nots.
have not mets. So there's my grandma Pat. She had 4 kids. So there's my Uncle Eric, my Aunt Rinda, my Aunt Fiona, and then my dad.
From your grandma.
From my grandma.
With one.
So my dad was the only child that she had with my dad's dad. The rest were with my Uncle Eric's dad that I met once. Called him Grandpa Scott, because Scott was his last name. Eric Scott, Rinda Scott, Fiona Scott.
Mm-hmm. Jesus.
So, my grandpa, and I think his name was Ernie, my biological grandpa.
Your dad's dad.
Yes. He had...
Is he the one that just passed away a couple years back?
Yes, and my dad was all broke up about it. I felt really bad for him. I couldn't imagine.
We podcasted about that.
Yeah, that was rough, dude. But, so, I have 2 uncles and an aunt. So, of 4 on that side. And so, I talk every once in a while to my Uncle Eric. And then I talk every once in a while to...
Do they live here?
No, my Uncle Eric lives up in Montana.
They all live everywhere else.
Yes. No, my Aunt Rinda, who I hadn't talked to since I was 9 or 10.
Going on 20 years now.
Yeah, coming up on 20 years. She was at my wedding.
Okay.
And my cousin Cece, who like was my like childhood hero, dude. Like
Same age?
No, he's 36.
Good 10 years older than you.
Yeah, 8-10 years. 7-8 years. Yeah, because when I was 10, he was just getting ready to graduate from high school. But yeah, my extended family situation's super weird. Like super weird.
And you're in contact with what, 30% of them?
Less than that.
Less than 30%.
Less than that.
Okay.
Especially if you go. My mom is like the youngest of 5, and I don't talk
got
to.
quite a bit of a fucking
Yeah, but
tree growing.
my mom is. So, my mom's mom, my grandma Kathy. She split with my grandpa Albert, which is my biological grandpa.
From your mom's side.
After having 5 kids.
Oh, so there's more.
There's 4 boys, and then my mom is the youngest.
Oh, fuck.
Yeah. So,
Lucky
there's
her.
my Uncle Kenny, my Uncle Robert, my Uncle Pat. Oh, no, she's the youngest of 4. Yeah, 4.
Mm-hmm.
But, and then, so my grandpa Albert had another daughter. with his second wife. So that's the fifth aunt on my mom's side. And then my grandpa Lyle had, which is my step grandpa on my grandma's side, but he's the one that like I know. Okay. That's my grandpa Lyle.
Most familiar.
Yeah, but yeah, on the entirety of my mom's side of the family, the only people that I talk to are my grandma Kathy and my grandpa Lyle. And that's every once in a great while. I got this weird sense of family. It's fucked up. It's like, fuck everybody but like my dad and my brother. Like
that's where I'm at. And it goes even more inward than that. It's like fuck everybody.
Fuck everybody.
Right. I mean,
how's your brother?
Fine. I don't know.
You don't talk to him?
Oh, you know what? I guess his girlfriend's pregnant.
Really? Same girlfriend?
Yes.
Okay. How's your sister?
Which one? So you met my brother, Sam.
Sam.
Right. He's here, and his girlfriend's supposedly pregnant, or is pregnant. But they've been pregnant before, and nothing happened. Like, she miscarried once, and the other one was like an abortion, but it might not have been his.
What?
That was the first one, and then she got pregnant again and lost it, and she's pregnant now. And then, so, there's Stephanie. I don't know if you ever met Stephanie.
I did meet Stephanie. Is that the one with the son?
No, that's Jess.
Jessica. Okay.
I haven't heard from her in a while.
Really?
Yeah. I mean...
Does she live in
not
here?
Not a long while. I mean, she almost did the same exact fucking thing that I did. She went to Denver with somebody, and then came back after a year.
Really?
Yes. But no, she's here. Like I said, I'm not very close to my family. Like I said, it's kind of like fuck everyone else. They're more like friends, more so. Like, I'm closer to you than I am to my own blood.
That's kind of where I'm at.
So, yeah. But with that, it's about time. So,
oh, we're ending it?
We're ending it. You've got
this was
places
good. What?
It got a little intensely political. We didn't even really close up on the whole Syria thing. We didn't even get to the point to where we attacked Syria.
Yeah.
We just started talking about Syria and then moved on to communism.
That's true.
But, yeah, we attacked Syria.
That was fucked.
Trump attacked Syria. Do you think it was...
Wrong move.
Really?
It's an interventionist move. We are intervening in... And again, I understand that it's hard to look at and it's hard to see those things. And
okay, hold on. Well, Trump said he didn't like... Did you see the footage of when Syria attacked their own people?
Yeah.
Like, I mean, that was fucked.
Horrible.
It was shocking.
Horrible.
And Trump was like, I didn't like that, so he's like, I want to help these people out. Maybe.
That's interventionist. That is inherent, and he.
I know we can't really jump into this because you got to go, but like, if you see some guy getting his ass kicked, are you gonna jump in or are you just gonna let it happen?
If it's 1-on-1 and some dude's getting his ass beat, I'm not stopping.
Really?
No.
What if it's like a little person and a big person? And it's
if it's 1-on-1, take an ass whooping. But if there's 6 dudes beating the shit out of somebody, I'm gonna stop.
Okay. So you're saying this isn't a 6 dudes kind of situation?
This is not a 6 dudes.
What I read, I know we can't jump into this. I mean, this is a big thing, but what I read real quick is that Russia backs Syria. Russia is an ally of Syria.
Yeah, the Assad regime.
Which, and I thought I read a lot of stuff that, like, Trump is kind of, like, in bed with Putin.
Dude, it's the same shit that you're looking at. So now it's spouting from the liberal side because we have a traditionally conservative, or he won through the Conservative Party's platform. So they're gonna try and just drag that motherfucker's name through the mud.
Which motherfucker?
Trump. And they did the same thing on the other side when Obama got elected. Oh, he's not even a fucking U.S. citizen. You're listening to all this ridiculous shit. It's ridiculous.
Yeah, but it doesn't seem like they're talking worse things. It sounds like there's worse things about Trump more than there was Obama. I could care less.
Because Trump's an insensitive dickweed, dude. Obama's at least palatable, so they had to get fucking ridiculous with their claims. So now those same ridiculous claims are out there, but the guy just keeps saying and doing ridiculous shit. He's not helping his case at all.
Are you worried at all for our country and its future as long as Trump is president?
This is exactly what I told my Uncle Mike.
Okay.
Before the election.
Okay.
We sat down on my youngest brother's birthday is October 24th. And we sat down. We were at dinner.
Is this your
for Kurt's
stepbrother or
yes,
half-brother?
Stepbrother.
Okay.
So for Kurt's birthday, we sit down and we decide that we're going to start talking about politics. So I explained to my uncle.
Real quick. Go on.
Oh, I thought you were saying real quick, as in you were going to say something. But
no.
He says that, I'll be voting for Donald Trump, and the only thing that I had to say was, if Trump gets in office, his mouth and his temper are going to start World War III. Mm-hmm. We are already in a volatile enough global environment. Everybody's
this was a temper-fueled attack on Syria.
It's emotional.
Do you think this is step one?
It could have been.
Just go away?
It could have been, because
but you don't think so. You don't all think
all that it takes is for Russia to stand up, because during the finger pointing after all these chemical attacks, both Syria and Russia are like, "Yep, no, dude, I don't know what happened. It wasn't us. It wasn't us. It wasn't us. It wasn't us. It wasn't us."
Right.
And
someone was taking a shit when it happened.
And they were very, very aggressively warned, both Syria and Russia. They were very aggressively warned. President
by
Trump.
Us? Okay.
Yeah.
But what is this whole thing with Trump being in bed with Putin?
I don't fucking know. But that's what I'm saying. It's the exact same thing with like,
where's your
birth certificate? Where's your fucking birth certificate, President Obama? It's the exact same shit.
Taking cues from Russia. And but now they're saying we're attacking Syria, and Syria is with Russia. So I don't like. All we can do is sit and watch and see what happens next. Right?
Sadly, yes. Again, I don't think that it's.
You don't think it's going to turn into World War III just yet?
I think that it will.
You think this could be step one?
This is. We're now setting the players and who's on whose side, and the idea.
Is there anyone on our side?
The rest of the fucking UN, dude.
Yeah, but did the UN feel that Trump was justified in his actions?
I don't know. He acted.
Like, this is where we started with, like...
He acted without consulting Congress, which you're not supposed to fucking do.
So he was just like, hey, let's bomb them, rather than like, should we bomb them?
You're supposed to. It's supposed to be something like an imminent threat to the nation, where you can assume, like, acting.
So like we weren't attacked like when 9/11 happened, and then we went after Saddam Hussein.
My understanding of that whole situation is that we had congressional approval when we went after that motherfucker.
Okay, but Syria attacked themselves, or whatever. And we attacked Syria because of it, just because Trump was like, I don't like that.
Exactly.
Rather than like, this happened, should we act? How should we act if we do act? Yada, yada, yada.
And this only strengthens my claim of...
Did you vote?
His emotions, yes. His emotions and his mouth. His reactions. He's like a very reactionary, in the moment. He seems like a very emotional person.
The thing that I saw when it all was going down is like, you got Hillary Clinton and you've got Donald Trump, and they're both 70-year-olds. Should we have a 70-year-old person in office? Like, can we at least get a 60-year-old in there somewhere?
I'm not worried about the age of these people.
It just seems like a ridiculous age.
I'm worried about their capacity to govern.
Right, they're at a point in their lives to where everything is so garbled and muddled that they've seen everything, they've done everything, and they might be acting a little bit from the cuff, shooting from the hip rather than assessing the situation. whatever. I don't know.
Regardless
Anyways,
of their age.
that's sequel podcast for this week. Dakota,
fuck.
Kimes, thanks for sitting in. Next week, hopefully again, right?
Maybe, I don't know.
Like, if we can, I'd like to keep this up.
Yeah.
Do you come
I can
straight
try.
from work, or?
I had to go home and get Penny, but pretty much, go home.
I would like to keep this up. If you can keep it up, let's try and keep it up.
Okay. I'll see what I can do.
And I'll try and get us more guests so we can get a little three-way action.
Hey.
Anyways, Dakota, thanks for sitting in and getting political with me. I'm Matt Bonta.
I'm Dakota Kimes. He let me do my outro, not my intro. What a jerk.